You have won the victory. Lift up your voice and say now. You have won it all for me. By His stripes we are healed. By His nail-pierced hands we're free. By His blood we're washed clean. And now we have the victory. And the power of sin is broken. Yes, He did. He has won. Yes, He has. It all. So every voice we sing hallelujah on the victory. I'm so glad that He's alive. Sing. You have won it all. Say it, death could not hold you. Nothing can hold you down. Oh God. And you're seated in. Oh, you are the great. Stretch out your hands, stretch out your hands, stretch them out. He's alive. He's alive. He's alive. Said He's alive. He's not dead. So grateful that He lives. Oh, come on, it just says, come on, our God is risen. He's alive now. He's alive now. Yeah. Our God is alive and well. Yes, He is. Yes, He is now. Come on. Lift up your hands and your voice. Say hallelujah. You've won, God. I'm so thankful for your life, oh God. Yeah. Hallelujah. Now you gotta get all the way up there. Just say, death could not. I feel a breaking in the air. And you see it, yeah. He's great, that you are. Open your mouth, open your mouth, open your mouth now. Glory, yeah. Break it open the atmosphere. Break it open with your worship. Come on. Get the recording for a minute.
Good evening and welcome to the waiting room. Happy Easter, everybody. But before we start, let's say a word of prayer. Quite really, my guest is already here. Let's say a word of prayer. Father, we thank you. You are the reason for the season. We thank you for dying and wipe our sins away. That could not hold us bound. Father, we thank you. Even as we gather to feast on your table this Easter day, we ask, oh Lord, that you come teach us. Give us a word that will change our lives forever. Use your thoughts mightily for us. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. Good evening, everybody. I can see your lovely faces from here. Toyin says hi. Happy Easter. Patient says hi. Okay, Chifu says hi, hi, hi. Thank you for all that for joining. You're welcome to the waiting room. Can we have a guest, please? So, it's a wonderful Easter celebration. Can you all hear me? Okay. It's a beautiful day. So good evening, everybody. Please let's hear. Say hi to our guests. Hi, how are you celebrating your Easter? I can see them joining in. Yeah, Tony says amen. So before I bring in my guest, I'll just read his scripture. The reason for the season. Isaiah 53:5 says, but he was wounded for our transgression, he was bruised for our iniquities, the chastisement for our peace was upon him, and by his stripes we are healed. So the guest we have today is a woman of God. She's doing this work for 22 years and still counting. We're going to welcome together Pastor Faith. Can you bring her in? Can you bring her in and control? Pastor Faith, let's see your beautiful face, woman of God. Yeah. Can you guys give us a beautiful waiting room round of applause, everybody, for where you are? Let's see your emojis. We've been waiting to have you on the waiting room, Pastor Faith. You're welcome. Welcome. Good evening, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, so Pastor Faith, I'm not Edo, so I hope I pronounce it very well. Edeko, right?
That's right.
Okay, people are telling you welcome, Pastor
Thank
Faith.
you.
He's the lead pastor of Omega Fire Ministry, home of elevation in Abuja, right? Am I right? Okay, so they are putting fire emoji for you, Pastor Faith. You know you are one of fire, so I can see some fire. Omega Fire, yes. Okay, Chiku, I saw that. So, Pastor Faith, I would want you to introduce yourself, everything. They are telling you welcome. I hope you can see it from there. You can see what they are typing from your end. Okay. Okay, so I'm just give us a brief intro of what you do. Then the other thing we should know about it. Just give us a brief intro about it.
There's nothing else you should know. My name is Pastor Faith. Uno said Deco. So in case you don't know how to pronounce it, Uno said Deco. And Uno means God's mouthpiece. So that's the meaning. Then we have Deco. So I'm the lead pastor of Omega Fire Ministries, home of elevation, Taco branch, Abuja. What else? Apostle Johnson Suleiman.
Are you an author? I heard you say in one of your lives whether you're writing a book or I'm
the author of Broken but Blessed.
Okay.
Broken but Blessed. And I have another book, 2 books coming. Before next month, it will be out. So
wow.
I'm into clothes too. I sell clothes. I have a boutique. So that's all.
So for those of you in Abuja, Tony and the rest of them, I have some Abuja food that will join in. Please patronize Pastor Faith. Yeah. You have some Abuja people. Please, if you are from Abuja here, let me see your hands up, please. Just put where you're screaming from. Let's know the people that are connecting with Pastor Faith. So Pastor Faith, love, dating, marriage, divorce, death. First question I want to ask you is, what are the things that this, because you see, just yesterday I saw a post and the person wrote, oh, today is Saturday again, a day where some people will enter into another wrong marriage. Some people will die out of this marriage, these weddings of that are holding today. Different. So when I saw that post, I just felt bad. And it's because are entering into some kind of danger, some death trap, some we don't know what is what or who is who as at the day of the wedding. But I know that there are some red before the wedding, because we have a lot of people that have, if they are not married, they have people that younger brothers get married. What should people look out for? From the angle of the man, from the angle, what should they look out for before getting into that friendship or wedding?
First of all, I need everybody to first know that marriage is a beautiful thing. Yes, marriage is a beautiful thing. For the fact that it's not, can everybody hear me? Okay. For the fact that marriage is a beautiful thing, a very beautiful thing. And for the fact that it's not working for other people does not downplay or try to reduce the color of love, or the fact that love marriage isn't right or marriage isn't good. So first of all, marriage is a beautiful thing. As ordained by God, before he instituted marriage, he had something he wanted to achieve. He had something he wanted to achieve. I'm just trying to be curious if everybody's hearing me. There's something he wanted to achieve. That's the first thing. That through the families in the word, the gospel will be preached, to get back humanity back to himself. That was first of all the original purpose. So marriage is beautiful. But the problem is now, a lot of people go into marriages, like you said, somebody said in a post that, oh, today's Saturday and a lot of people have entered into wrong marriages. I was doing a broadcast yesterday. I talked about why do people still go ahead to marry toxic people? Because 95% of these marriages that are toxic or end up in divorce, if you interview the both parties, they will tell you that we saw these signs. So the signs are always there. Always there. 90%, I don't know of the other 10, but I know 90% of the time, the signs are always there. So most of these marriages that at the end of the day doesn't go down well, the signs are always there. But the truth of the matter is that the person will tell you, I still went ahead. So there are different reasons why people go ahead marrying toxic people. I talked about it yesterday. So maybe I will have to go over in the course of my talking. Now, in the time of dating, or where you are courting, or as a man or as a young girl, you've met the man, you've met the lady, you're getting to know yourself. First of all, dating is a period where you get to know yourself. And there are certain things you must look out for. Like I said to someone, I said, what is good for the good? Sometimes it's not good for the gander. One of the problems we have as singles is that we tend to look at those things we naturally cannot bear, and we overlook them. So period of dating is not a period of overlooking. Listen, there is a difference between overlooking and overlooking and believing that this person can check. There are two different things. Overlooking is a very different thing.
Why you pin your hand on that? Will you agree with me if I say that a lot of people look at this and because they are in love? Because in this whole thing called the love, the marriage thing, the person in need is not seeing those things. I'll use myself for an example. I was in a relationship where I wasn't seeing the wrong. I wasn't seeing what other people were seeing. But every other person was telling me about the red flag. This is not good for you. This is how you're going to end up. But I was the only person that didn't see. What is that? Is that what other people are facing? Is that is it a love is blind kind of thing? I want you to just say something about that.
It's not love in blind. That's not it. One of the reasons for that, when that happens, is because there are so many factors. Number one, when you are not psychologically matured, not age, that is when you are not psychologically. Praise God.
Yeah, they can hear you. You go ahead. If my Wi-Fi goes, you can go ahead. They can hear you.
Now, when you are not psychologically ready, you're not psychologically matured. For instance, what you just said now, 90% of the time, it affects people who are just falling in love for the first time. If the person in question is your first love, I'm not saying all the time, sometimes your first love, you know, you've really not been into any relationship before, you don't know what love is, and this one just catch you, you know, you're feeling it so strong, and you feel this must be it. That's why I said there are different reasons why you might be with somebody and not be seeing what other people are seeing. Number one reason is the fact that you are not psychologically matured. Number two, I think I spoke about it yesterday, when sex is involved. Now, these reasons does not apply to everybody, so I will just name them. You know, when I say number one, number two, number three, number four, it affects people differently.
Yeah.
So number one, the person is not psychologically matured, it's the first love, I've never seen it, you know, this is the first time I'm feeling goosebumps, this is the first time I'm having to, you know, get so close with an opposite sex, so it beclouds your brain. So that's one. Number two, when sex comes into play and there's intimacy, when there's intimacy, your brain shuts down.
Yes,
that's true. Your brain shuts down. That's because somebody said human beings have two brains, one here and one under. When that one under is working, this one shuts down. When this one is working, the one under shuts down. So I don't know how that is so true that is, but somehow I think that philosophy works.
Yes.
So most of the time, sex beclouds the brain. Intimacy, when you get intimate with someone, even before marriage, when you get very intimate, that's why you discover that even in marriage, that intimacy with physical battery, the woman will still say, I don't want to go. The man will still say, I don't want to leave. Because there's something sex does, you know, there's something intimacy does. It binds you.
Yeah.
So now what you are now feeling is this emotion, goosebumps. When you're with him, there's a way you feel. You are no longer thinking. So when other people begin to think for you, they are wondering why you are not seeing what they are seeing. It's not the fault of the man. It's not the fault of the lady. So when sex gets into play, your brain shuts down. That is the truth. And that's why people who engage in sex, I know there's no how we can preach it for some people to stop. But the truth of the matter is that you really will not be able to judge right if sex is involved. You will not judge right. You will not judge rightly when sex is involved because you are not thinking straight. When he does something to you that you're supposed to see, he comes back to apologize, and the next thing you both have sex. And then when the sex is over, oh, you feel this. Now you're mistaking reality for goosebumps, for emotion. This is the way I feel when he's around. When he's around, I feel so loved. You see, sex is taking over the brain right now. You understand? So that's another reason why people might be in such relationships and not be seeing it. They are not seeing it at all.
So, Pastor Faith, I come in here. I see a lot of even so somehow looks like it's the people of the world that's really enjoying this movie. They are in the club, they are grooving, their marriage is still intact. I see a lot of church marriages going back. E.g. Osinachi of blessed memory. I see people in church, pastors, brethren, that they are not really enjoying their marriage, but they are just, keeping up with the Joneses, trying to paint this picture to the world. That I'm not saying people of God don't have divorce and all that, but I'm saying if you give some of the people, the brethren in church, an opportunity to divorce their wives, they will jump at it. I'm saying, how did they? Because they prayed, they heard from God, they heard pastor, they did all that, fasted. So why are the people in the, looks like the people in the church, our religious people, Christians, let me not say, are the ones suffering the whole thing, really, the bulk of it? Can you say one or two things about that?
You know why? The people of the world, they marry what they like. They marry what they crave for. They marry what they have interest in. When an unbeliever marries another unbeliever, let me use that word. He marries a lady who is, fleshy, because he loves fleshy people. I'm only giving one of the reasons why it's so. Outside the fact that Satan actually wants Christian marriages to break. Do you understand? But this other reason I'm giving you, if you look at it very closely, you see it's the truth. When an unbeliever wants to marry, he marries a fair lady because he wants a fair lady. He likes them fair. He likes them tall. So he has no business with the person goes to church, so he has no business if the person is pretending or not. But he marries what he likes. And then years after that marriage, the interest is still there. See, I don't know about the philosophy. I've heard a lot of people say it doesn't matter your physical structure. Go for the heart. Go for the heart. See, you see that? Go for the heart. Go for the heart. It's good. Go for the heart. Go for the character. Go for what you want. But do not marry a character in the body of what you don't like. Because you see, that is one of the problems. And then the person is a Christian, gets into marriage and begins to cheat. And some of these women who get married to such men, or such men who get married to such women, they can't stand it. They can't stand it. So don't get married. Marry the full package. Marry the full package. So when you look at the worldly marriages, they marry according to their kind. And then right in the church, we have too many pretenders. We have too many masks.
That is what I wanted to hear. That is what I wanted to hear. I was coming to Pastor Faith. 1 minute. I was coming to, is this so much pretend? Because you like this guy tall that can handsome. You like, and for those that have tested before, we're all adults here. There's a particular specification a woman will want. Oh, this one's is too small. I'm talking about big now. Because you have tested before. So you are looking for a particular type. But because you are pretending, you will now reduce your standard and marry one prop that you are not proud of, that you're not attracted to, because you feel safe in church. You feel safe. Say, if they've tongue-speaking brother, not knowing that tongue-speaking brother will beat you and kill you. So I want to address that.
Now, there are characters you must look at for.
Don't get me, like I said, there are good people. Even in church, there are good people.
Yes.
All right? They are good people. And that's why there's this philosophy that says, who loves someone? The person you love is in love with another person. They are good people. But sometimes the people we love and the people who do not deserve us, that's the truth. The people we love.
Please, can somebody pin it down? Somebody type that for me. Type that on the chat box.
Who do not deserve us. You love people who don't deserve you. You love people who don't love you back, and you know it. And most of the reason why people end up getting into toxic relationships and they stay there, 4 reasons why people get into relationships, it's toxic. Sometimes we see, like I analyzed just now, most of the time you don't see. Other people are seeing the character, you don't see. And there are 2 reasons why you will not see it. Number 1, you're not psychologically matured. Number 2, sex is involved. There might be other reasons, but these are the 2 reasons why you will not see it. But most of the time, you see it, you know that this person shouted on me yesterday, pushed me down. When you went back home, you thought about, this character, get as a view. Am I sure I should not break? Am I sure I should continue? Come on, once in a while, you must always think. So it is not all the time that the person said, I was not seeing it. You were actually seeing it, but only that there are 4 reasons why you pretended as if you didn't see it. So it's not like you didn't see it. When they say this person is aggressive, you saw the aggression. Only that you try to convince yourself that this was not aggression. So there are 4 reasons why people stay in toxic relationships, even though they know that this ought to break. Number 1, I can change them. I can change him. I can change her. I can transform her. I can transform him. And like I would tell, somebody pinned it right there.
Help us type them in the comment box. Number 1, please. Number 1, help us type that.
I can change them. And somebody pinned down what I said just now. I said, marry your kind. We all have our kind. This one we are shouting domestic violence. Woman of God, do you know I've spoken to a lady who told me that she cannot be in a relationship with a guy that does not beat her?
Whoa.
Yes.
Whoa.
She said she cannot. Why will a man not beat her? Why will a man not beat her up? That it shows that he's a man. You can see. He said it shows that he's a man. That when I think when he finished beating her, she would realize that yes, that because she's very stubborn. So she's very stubborn. So she wants a man that can really show her that what do you call it? That strength. So immediately the man beats her up, they'll settle and the love will get glued again. So we are shouting domestic violence. There are people that enjoy it. There are people that enjoy it.
I'm going to play
Number 2.
Videos. Let me quickly read out some of the things they typed here. Then we'll play Control. Hope you are ready with the video, because that will now guide our remaining conversation. Emily is here now. Emily is the person that actually puts me in your. Emily, say hi to Pastor Faith. She's a serious follower of Pastor Faith. She's the one that actually put my name, mentioned me in your comment. I'm like, whoa, this woman is on fire. So Emily is there. Emily, say hi to Pastor Faith. Ivy says, when there is intimacy, the brain shut down. Okay, I think she was trying to type out what Pastor Faith is saying. You got my point. Satan always attack Christian homes. Yes. Character in the body you don't like. So look at the character you like and follow that person. That was she was saying there. Okay, Chiku says, word. This is powerful, of course. Pastor Faith is a powerful woman of God. Patience says, full package on point. How many marry according to your kind? I think this is a take home for me as well. According to your kind. This pretending is the cause of the whole problem. Yes, this patience. Tony says the people we love are people who don't deserve us. Okay, I think she was trying to pin down your comment. Who else said something? Marry your kind, marry. Okay, so please control. Can I get those videos so that we can, now discuss? I will bring in one or two persons. I don't know if she's online. So they want to make one or two comments and ask questions. So please, let's have that video. I want us to just watch this video. Then talk about it. You can go ahead. Okay, so that's video number 1. Please play the other video. We have 2 videos. That's a man. So I can see Pastor Faith removing her eyes from the video, trying to shut the eyes and all that. Now, I couldn't take a look at that video once. So I said, if you love a woman, okay, so this can be to a man or to a woman. It's always me and his wife and all. So it can be from both sides. Now, if you love that partner so much and you marry the partner, why will you as much as even lay your hands on her? I'm talking about slap now. Not to talk about throwing her hair on the floor, the lady's hair on the floor, then the other one flogging the wife like a goat. For me, I see hate. I don't know what other people say. I see hate. Now, if you are tired of the marriage, if you're tired of the woman, what stops you from returning her to her parents? No, if you want to collect your bride price, why will you go flog her like a goat? Because if you don't flog a human being like that with wire, belt, and all that, then the other one, cutting her hair, dragging her hair, you want to kill her? Please, Pastor, please, can you respond to those people?
You see, until people start to love themselves first, you love yourself first before you think of loving somebody else. You love yourself first before you think of loving somebody else. That's number 1. Number 2, until we start to embrace heartbreaks as good things, we will continue to have issues like this. I will explain what I mean by that point. Most of these marriages you're seeing, there are different reasons why a marriage, there are different reasons why this can possibly happen. This battery, violence can possibly happen. Number 1, when marriage is done out of pity, there was no love. When marriage is done out of pity, there was no love. It is either they were dating, the lady was so good to the man, so the man could not leave her, I just have to marry her. If not, people are going to talk. The man is so good, if I don't marry him, people are going to talk. So marriage out of pity. Yes. When there is no affection in the first place, marriage out of pity, and that's, I don't know, time might not permit me. I like to break my talk into points. And you discover that marriage in its own sense, there are different kinds of marriages. Number 1, you have the relationship where you are dating yourself, marrying yourself. You are the one marrying yourself. You are dating yourself. The person is not involved. And you end up marrying such a person. You only dated yourself, and eventually he married you out of pity. There is no reason he will not beat you up or she will not disrespect you. That is the truth. Marriage out of pity. That's why I said until we start to appreciate heartbreak. When we are talking about divorce now, personally, do you know when you go through divorce, you start to appreciate heartbreaks. When you see people go through heartbreak, you tell the person, oh, thank God it happened to you. Thank God it happened to you.
Yes.
Do you understand? Thank God it happened to you. So, marriage out of pity. Number 2, marriage out of circumstance. You were not the one she wanted to marry, but something just happened. She got pregnant.
You're pregnant.
You were not the one he wanted to marry. Something just happened. She got pregnant. And then it's like they are both forced. There is no how I will not beat you up. Because he looks at you, you are his doom. Perhaps he has somebody else he wanted to marry. He has somebody else who caught his fantasy. There was somebody else who he wanted to settle, or she wanted to settle with, not you. Number 3, you courted him and he has anger issues. You knew about it and you chose to ignore. And this anger issues is something he cannot control. I'll give you a scripture. I was talking about today, I was dealing on, in church, I was dealing on foundation and background. And we are Christians, so I think we should go to the scripture. I took a study from the book of Moses. The Bible says in Genesis, the Bible says, and God called Moses and said to Moses, you are going to bring my people into a promised land. And do you know when it goes to Exodus chapter 3, somewhere Exodus chapter 3, verse 10, thereabout, the same God was saying to Moses, you will see this promised land, you will not enter. What happened? Between you will lead, so you will not enter. The Bible says, speak to the rock, he struck it because he was angry. Now looking at Moses, Moses was the meekest man on earth. Meekness and anger, they are 2 parallel lines. They don't go.
Yeah.
So how can a meek man become so angry to make a mistake? That is because the anger in his bowel was not part of his character. There was something already flowing in his DNA. Dated to the book of Exodus chapter 2, verse 1. It says, a man from the house of Levi married into another house of Levi. And who is Levi? Take your mind back to Genesis 49. Jacob said, cursed be the anger of Levi. May my soul not have them in their tabernacle. So cursed be the anger of Levi. Genesis 49. That was what Jacob said concerning the house of Levi. So there was already anger. I had to come here because if somebody displayed a little bit of aggression and you feel that, oh, he's a loving person, he's kind, he's caring, he's this, and you tend to overlook or downplay that thing that is flowing, it will always come up. Someday, somehow, it will come up. And that's why a man can beat a woman over a nonsense. You cook food, you didn't bring the food on time, he slaps you. Because sometimes it might not be him, but something flowing in his DNA. And that's why they tell you, run. Because if something is remoting this man, it will kill you before he realizes. It will kill you.
Oh.
That's why we don't say run because we are just telling you to run. We tell you run because someone who is controlled by anger has no brain. That's why you see that man dragging. Now, if he has a brain, he should know that when you are dragging someone on the ground, the person's head can hit a stone.
Pastor Faith, I will pin you there. You know, I have live witnesses on this call. Now, there was something that happened with my ex when I had my baby, and then there was some kind of, quarrel and fight and all that. Do you know that he picked up a cutlass and chased us out of the house? My mom was there, my brothers and sisters, a live cutlass. It was my brother that actually, held his hand and removed that cutlass. He's on this call. So he held his hand, rescued me and then removed that cutlass. Do you know that he said till today, he said he cannot recall. Now I'm bringing into this anger. When anger takes over, they don't know. It's a spirit. They don't know what they are doing anymore. Till today, he cannot recall that he collected a live cutlass. Yes. So you see that man that says that killed the wife that was in prison, that whenever he goes to court, he will scream, "I did not kill her. I did not kill her. I love my wife." It's the truth. He's saying the truth. Yes. He did not. Yes. Anger kills. You understand? So I'm trying to drive home your point. Real life. So I have two contributors. We'll come back to you. Then I have two people that want to contribute. You can add there. If Dino is there or Dr. Laxi, two people, they just want to drop their comments, they want to type, they just want to come in, drop their contributions. And so you can add them now so that we can, our time is going, and participate. She has another step. Yes, Sister Zino is joining us from the US. She's a women liberator. It's always for the women, always stay there, fighting for them and all that. She has her own belief that I know that she doesn't start far from where we are. So, Sister Z, did you watch that video?
Yeah.
Dr. Faith, please.
Hi, Dr. Pastor Faith. Thank you so much. I enjoyed your points. I watched that video. Now, let me say this. First of all, the first point I want to raise is orientation. Now, if there is this background, there's this orientation from child, because we came from homes and then we had parents who raised us. And that background that we came from, what is our understanding of man? What did we see? We have families, we have cousins, we have uncles, we have people that we look up to. What do we see? What is your orientation at, first of all? About family, about marriage, about the next person, about a woman if you're a man, and about a man if you're a woman. What is your orientation? So the Bible says that if the foundation is faulty, what can the righteous do? So one of the major issues we have is faulty foundation from the beginning. People don't understand that marriage, when you get into marriage, it's no longer about you, it's about two people coming together. Why are you coming together? Why? What is the reason for coming together? So that also brings me to the second point. Why do you want to get married? And this is not a question for just the girl. This is also a question for the man. Why do you want to get married? Two people dating should be able to sit down. What are your values? Why do we want to come together to get married? Let there be an understanding. Let there be proper discussion. It's not about sex. It's because sex you can always get outside. It's not about, okay, because we just want to have children. Why do you want to get married? Once that understanding is in place, if you set out the reasons, what your relationship is going to be built on, those basics are very important, first of all. So we have, I've seen this Osinachi thing. I've read a lot of comments, a lot that are so heartbreaking. You see people defending the man. And I'm not saying, don't make it about gender issue. This is not a gender issue. This is life. Somebody's life was snatched away. An avoidable death. Make it about, don't come and defend that men are also going through. That's not the point right now. The point is that somebody was killed, a life was taken. So people have even lost empathy for human, first of all. You don't even understand that we're talking about life here. They're defending that is a man or woman or this or that. You see comments like, oh, you see a woman that you got married to as a tool, somebody you bring in for some purposes. No, that's not what it is. You see a man you're getting married to as a means to upgrade yourself. It's a means to livelihood. You have a definition for it. You've left the real reason why two people should come together. Build a home. Family, first of all, is the major and the first point of togetherness. So, this family transcends into the society. If the family is not okay, then the society is okay, because we raise whoever is in the society from the family. So that's the first bedrock. That's the first foundation of the family. And one other point I want to also say is that devil intentionally, specifically fights marriages. Because the Bible says that fight 10,000. So that's coming together. If families are allowed to unite, to be together, there's so much that the world can do right today. So the only way is to start fighting the smaller units of the society, which is the family. So the devil specifically, intentionally fights families. You can see two people. I was telling somebody, I said, Pastor Mr. Nature said that people should shine their eyes before you get into marriage. But I've said, and I've seen this. I'm talking from experience. You can actually open your eyes and the person can tick all the dots, all the points that you've raised, and still have issues in the marriage midway.
Thank you so much, Susie. Thank you so much.
I'm almost done. So I gave an instance where I said that somebody, a young man who got into marriage, everything was going well, he has a job going, and then all of a sudden he lost his job, he lost motivation, and then he lost it. So that also comes back to being intentional. So the point I want to make, because devil is intentional and specifically fighting marriages, people should be intentional about their marriages. And I'm talking about the two, they should be specific. They should have this understanding that this thing, we have to make it work. There should be that commitment. So once the two people have agreed, no matter the storm, no matter the issues, they can weather together. And I'm saying too, so that people stop the idea of, oh, my wife doesn't mean anything. So you don't have value for your wife. You don't have any respect for your wife. That's why you would beat your wife like that. That's why you would drag your wife like that. If you have regards for the woman you marry, if you know her value, if you know her worth, you won't do that. If you have any respect at all, you won't do that. Likewise, women who jump just because your husband is supporting you or trying to help in the home or just trying to do it, you just take it as a reason to shout, insult. His friends are around, you're calling him, please come and carry plates. You know, we should all have limits. There should be mutual respect for each other.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your contribution. So the Bible says, can two walk together except they agree? So I see a lot of, back to Pastor Faith, I see a lot of people that don't have things in common, that are not on the same thinking frequency, that do not have the same life, that do not, they're not supposed to be seen together. They are there together because this is the available man. This is the person that proposed to me, and so I must die here. So I give you a personal story. So when Osinachi died, I could relate to her story a whole lot because I've gone through some of the things she went through. I was in a situation where I'll be the one that will work and I will have to submit my money. And I can't buy any beautiful thing for myself because if I buy it, men are looking at me. So a man is going to take me from my head. And I get my salary, I submit it. You know, you had the Osinachi story where she buys the car. I don't know how true they collect. You can't drive the car. I was in that situation. People are arguing it. People are saying, "Were you there?" I'm not sure it's true, but I'm telling you that I've gone through that road. I bought a new car. I wasn't able to drive the car. I was given an old car. They collected my new car. So I'm saying people have gone through a lot. For women viewing now, that have the opportunity, those that are not married, that okay, this, because I almost stopped a wedding, you know. I told the girl told me my story. She told me, she downloaded my sister, run now that you still have the time. Run now. And she says, but we've gone far. We've written cards. My mother is going to die. She has invited her meeting people. I said, excuse me. Will the meeting people be in your house? Are they the ones getting married? Pastor Faith, please, from experience or from, you know, I wanna go, you see people every day. Please, can you just throw some sense into what I do? Some sense. No, I see a lot of people are commenting. Let's hear from Pastor Faith for our time. Please, Pastor Faith, go ahead.
You see, you really cannot convince people otherwise outside their own convictions. That's the truth. You can. And when people tell you they find it difficult to live that kind of relationship, you've answered it now. They will tell you it's because we've come too far. Do you know how long I've been with him? Do you know how long I've been with her? Do you know where I'm coming from? Do you know what I've had to sacrifice? Somebody told me near death experience. I would just walk away. Then another reason they don't want to leave, there's this notion that karma will come for you. There's this notion that life can turn. Maybe the person I live today will now be a president tomorrow, and they will now be pointing hands and saying, look at that lady, she's the one that man was supposed to have married. So you see, that's another reason why people can choose to be in such relations, outside the fact that they really consider time that they have spent. But there is no time, no sacrifice, no, no effort from outside people that should stop a person from making a decision that will affect his or her life. That's why I started by saying we should first love ourselves. We should first love ourselves.
Very key.
Yes, we love people more than we love ourselves.
You can't give what you don't have. If you have love, give it to yourself first, then you can exude it.
No, people don't love themselves. It's easier for people to love other people than they love. They feel when they love themselves, then it's selfish. Do you understand? Yes. They feel when they love themselves, it's selfish to love yourself. Because if you really love yourself and you consider how much pain you're going to have tomorrow, not that other person, then you will be able to walk away. But we tend to love other people outside ourselves. There are people like that. There are people like that. You love other people than you love yourself. It's a godlike character anyway, but sometimes we take it to the extreme. And that's why you have a lot of people still getting in and getting stuck into that relationship because they feel, oh, I don't want to break the person's heart. Oh, a lot of people are going to get disappointed. Oh, I've come too far. I've done a lot. He used me. How do I live? It will look as if he used me. We do not love ourselves. The moment you begin to love yourself, I saw somebody write something when we're talking about domestic violence, and when I mentioned a lady who said to me, she likes the man that beats her, and somebody wrote something. I saw it. The person said, I beat her with her fragile body. You see, when you realize that your body is fragile, you see, you love yourself. All right. So I will say this in passing. One of the reasons or one of the things people should look out for before they get married. Ideologies, mindsets, ideologies, mindsets. If you can understand the mindset of that person, how does the person see life? How does the person see women? How does that lady, how does she see a man? There are most men who believe that, how can I be talking and a woman is talking? For what? You see that ideology now. One of the reasons, during my scandal, during my issue, one of the bloggers said to me, he said, you know, people were asking questions. And he said to me, he said, why not, you know, if this man comes back to apologize, why not just, would you go back? And the person said, it's not good to raise children in a broken home. I laughed. I laughed at that statement, and I told the blogger and the people asking that question that they are liars. There are homes that are more toxic than even single homes. I told the person, if you ask me the reason I will not even go back there, it is even because of my kids. So don't give me that emotional blackmail. It is because of my kids. Even if I choose, say, I decide, okay, today, if you ask me, I want to go back. But when I look at my children, I will not. Now, take a look, while I'm talking about ideologies, take a look at the children of Osinachi. Did you hear what they said? Yes. My father said it is good to beat a woman. And that child, she has boys. That's why I said before you get married, pay attention to, see, even if you will not pay attention to every other thing, no. Don't pay attention to whether he can dress, whether he can. What are his ideologies?
Very key.
So a young boy who already feels that beating a woman is good, if you spend more time finding his ideologies, you will know. You will know how he sees life.
True.
That one you cannot change. The way he thinks, the way she thinks.
You can't change. Yeah.
You can't change it. That is the idea. That's the way they were brought up. And I said to that blogger, I said, both you and every other person, you will lie. Because I will remember my eldest child, she's a girl. And she's 3 years older than the next one, who is a boy. Several times, the boy will disrespect the elder sister. She's senior to the elder sister for 3 years. She's senior to the younger brother with 3 years. She will disrespect the elder sister. And in the midst of their ruffles, maybe the girls, I don't know, somehow, children will always be children. He pinched me, he pushed me. When they make a report, or maybe the boy starts crying, and my ex comes and says, what happened? Without even asking questions. Maybe the younger brother, my younger son would say, she beat me, she pushed me, she pinched me, she did that. He will pounce on the girl and beat her up as if you're beating an adult. And when he is doing that, he will be telling her, how dare you? How dare you lay your hands on a man? How dare you lay your hands on a man? And the boy is listening. The boy is watching. The boy is listening. I remember there was a day that thing happened. I couldn't take it anymore. I knelt down on my 2 knees. I begged him. I said, in the name of God, don't ruin the life of my son. Don't ruin him. Because he's going to get married now and feel that, you know,
The boy is
women,
superior.
yeah, I'm, you know, as a man, I'm superior. I'm superior. I knelt down, I begged him, in the name of the God that created myself and you. I said, because this girl is 3 years older than this boy. They are not men. In the family I come from, if you insult your elder, then we hold you. Hold you. Then we hold, since you can insult, then we hold you. And I said, they are not men. So if and number two, what are you putting into this girl? She began to have inferiority complex. You see, she started to have inferiority complex. So now you can get beaten. Oh God, it was messy. I watched this boy becoming very disrespectful to anything called a woman. Primary one, if it is a man that is his teacher, we are good. If it is a woman that is his teacher, oh God, I will visit that school 5 times in a week. Because why should you be talking to me? Sit down there, we ask you what. Go there, we ask you for what. I couldn't take it. That's why I said, find out the ideologies of that man or that woman. How do the person see life? So when everything crashed, I had to start, you know, arranging. It was a whole lot of work. Start arranging and rearranging what has already been broken in his head and even in the head of the girl herself. So when you take out time, courtship or dating, I don't know how much time we have more, but dating, courtship is a time, even if you don't find out nothing else, find out the ideology of that person. Find out how the family he or she came up from, how do they see life? How do they see things? How do they see a woman? How do they see women? How do they see, you know, that female gender? How do they see a man? Do you understand? How do you see a man? So when you pay such attention, then you are good to go. If it is something you can cope with, fine. If it is something you cannot cope with, no need getting into it. Because there are some things that are just preventable. Now we are talking about the cure. They told us that prevention is better than cure. We are talking about cure now, when we can actually prevent. And that's why, yes, we can actually prevent. Some things
okay, so as we round up, there's somewhere we've not touched. Next 10 minutes we should be out of here. We're already over our time. Death. Okay. You know, we talk about love, just about dating, marriage, and all that. Death in marriage. Okay, so I'll use myself as an example. That day we had so many other cases. You know, when I was pregnant and I was beaten and all that. I would use the case of the cutlass. I would use the case of the cutlass. I would say, what if my brother was not there to restrain him? I would say, what if he had succeeded in using the cutlass that day? It would have led to death. So many women have died in marriage. So I'm not only talking about physical death now. I'm also talking about death of your purpose, of your vision. Almost everything you see me do today started aligning after the end of that union. I'm telling you. So there is physical beating. There is, hey, you cannot even amount to nothing. You are not smart. You cannot do business in Lagos. You cannot do this. I mean, verbal abuse. You know, so you die many times because I did not believe in myself. So there are women suffering this in relationship. I'm talking about boyfriend, girlfriend. I'm not talking about marriage now. The man is verbally abusing you, and you are still there. So I'm saying people die so many times for their death. They also die physical death in relationship. How can we? To round up, please. We have like 5 minutes to just deal with it. That will just give us the final. Please, if you have questions for Pastor Faith, can you quickly drop them? Let's see if we can take one of them before we go. Yeah, Pastor Faith.
If I get your question, can you ask the question again?
Death in marriage. So there's physical death. There's, the one that they use their mouth to finish your purpose, your destiny, and so you amount to nothing, you not believe in yourself, and you're still there. That means you cannot fulfill purpose. You are in that marriage. Some die physical death. How can we attack these things as Christians, as young ladies, young men?
Personally, I don't think there's any way out of. Number one, you talked about physical death, right? You talked about verbal death. Huh? That's psychological death. And do you know that verbal abuse is even worse? Somebody said to me yesterday, he said the partner will always tell us, yes, you black. Go and come cream. Yeah, you black. It is even the verbal death that is worse. That's what causes people to commit suicide. You just wake up one morning and tell yourself you are useless. There is no need. See, there is no way out. If you are in an abusive marriage, I don't know. But if you are in an abusive marriage, I do not believe in divorce, even though it happened to me. Do you understand? But I believe in separation. I believe in taking a break. Do you know why I say take a break? Even if there is no physical, what do you call it? Even if there is no physical beating, yes. Do you know that there is a way a lady can insult you as a man? One day you will strangle her to death.
True.
So when we say separate, have to take a break. There is a way someone can make you feel, even as a man. There's a way a woman can so insult you. One night as they sleep, you will strangle, you commit homicide without even knowing. And when you are done with it, when they start telling you, you say, it's the devil. It's those voices that are talking in your head. That's why verbal abuse is not even good. So when you are in an abusive marriage, I don't believe, even before we get to divorce, take a break. Just take a break. Take a break. Because falling into depression, if somebody constantly tells you you are useless, you are nothing, you are good for nothing, you will never amount to anything. I am managing you. I'm managing you. You are, good for nothing. You are a useless fellow. And you sit down somewhere and you start to think. You might end up killing yourself. This was what happened to me. Woman of God. I bought sniper. You see, I bought sniper. I wrote my suicide note.
Oh, I was also suicidal. So you can see what marriage can do to you. I was not, because I didn't want, this is not what I planned. So I was thinking suicide. I didn't know there's another life after divorce or after separation. You understand? So I resonate with you. So because one of the things pushing us to this kind of thought is, you look around, what will people say? They will laugh at me. In church, you are holding one position, or you are a pastor. Oh, they will say, look at this one. So that is the thought that is pushing you. True of us, Pastor Ben. True of us. That's the thought that is, because this is like the end of the road kind of thing. Yes. You don't want to go back. You don't want to face the world. You don't want to care. Let me just go and rest. And I have friends that have died.
Outside that you feel incapable of yourself.
I have friends that actually collected that what they call sniper and died because of marriage. Until today, the men are still alive, married to other women.
So marriage is good. Marriage is enjoyable. Marriage
Yes.
is beautiful. Marriage is interesting.
If you are married to the right person,
Married to the right person. But when it begins to tell on your health, when it begins to tell on your well-being, when it becomes threatening to your life, then you need to take a break.
take a break.
Do you know that it is not just I want to say this. Somebody said to me, you said, I can't separate from a partner because of cheating. I can't separate from I've heard some women of God say it. I've heard some pastors, cheating cannot make me separate from my husband. And I said to somebody, I said, what if you get HIV? What if you get hepatitis B? Do you know that most of these people don't even use condoms? So for me, marriage is beautiful. Marriage is, interesting. But when that relationship becomes life-threatening, you treat hepatitis B once. You have treated infection 2 times. You have treated any infection that is worse, and you are faithful. You've treated it like 3 times, or you treated it like 5 times. Right now, it's life-threatening, whether you like it or not. One day you're going to contact something bigger than you. So marriage is beautiful, but in clause, when it becomes life-threatening, when you start getting suicidal, when you start getting thoughts of killing the other person, when you start getting thoughts of, the woman is insulting, you can't bear it anymore, you want to beat her, to punch her, you want to squeeze the life out of her, take a break.
Okay, so somebody has a question. Somebody has a question. Somebody has a question as we close. Now, Patience is saying, I want to ask the tradition of doing due diligence on intending spouse. Is it still in vogue? I'm asking because most people don't know anything about the family they are going into. The church should enforce this old tradition. What do you have to say about this, Namaste? As we close. So we just answer that question, say your final word.
Okay, before I answer that question, I just want to say a few things about what you guys have said so far. So this is my take on when things go bad. Number one, before you even think of separation, because the other side, separation, a lot of people don't even have the capacity to handle it. So if you can't handle it, the mental pressure that can give you will also affect the children and you. So because that side is not an easy route either. It's a very difficult route if you don't have strength. If you are not, even when you are prepared for it, it's not. Even if you have money and everything, it's a tough route to take. So I always feel that people, first of all, two people come together and work things out. Let them go for therapy, because some people have a very terrible orientation, like you were saying, and that was the orientation I was talking about when you said the ideology of your parents being abusive and all that. But as they grow older, they have a good heart, just that is a habit that they've learned from beginning. So let there be some sort of therapy. Let's go to therapy with an open mind, both of you. And I'm not talking of therapy of going to meet a pastor, because it's not every pastor. Just because you're a pastor does not mean you understand. They're professionals for therapy. When I came to the US, I went to a therapy. My pastor saw some things and said, you know what, you need to take a therapy. And he recommended a therapy. He's a pastor, very good guy. His marriage has been for 27 years. Perfect relationship, but he said go and meet a professional therapy. What he did was recommended a Christian therapy who, so that they talk to you in the faith. But he's not. She wasn't a pastor. She was a therapist. So go to therapy, both of you, with an open mind. Try to work things out. Some men can turn out good in the process. Some wives can turn out good in the process. Make every effort to work things out. Look for somebody who you respect. Because one of the most terrible things that can happen to you is that if you have a man or a woman who does not listen to anyone, who does not fear anyone, who does not respect anyone, you're in trouble. So look for somebody that he can listen to. Not a biased situation. Leave your family out of it. Go out there and talk to somebody. Work things out. Some couple can come back together with a realization and be good. So try every avenue. Go therapy. Pray together. You just talk to him. Have some people talk to him. Do all of that. But if it continues, please do not stay in an abusive marriage. If it continues, but make sure you explore every avenue about working things out. Because the truth is that if you can work things out and there's a realization and it can come back really sweet and okay. That is if both are ready to work things out. Yes, if both are ready to work, but if it continues, please. What people will say does not matter. Let them say it. And this is where we have, most especially we women, we know how to talk people down. We know how to tear them down. You are facing the same problem, but because the other person own is exposed now, you talk as if you're not. So if you have someone who is going through that situation, talk to them. I'm not telling you, tell them, oh, move out, but be that shoulder. Be someone that they can talk to. Just talking to someone, just listening to someone help a lot, help heal a lot. Not tearing them down, not pushing, oh, this one. You're the first one to take them to a public place to disgrace them because you feel that, oh, they're not able to keep their home. Some people who are out, it's not because they want to be outside.
Okay. So Mama Z, I will have to let Pastor Faith go. She has under 7.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much.
Okay, so thank you so much. Pastor Faith, and in saying your goodbye, Pastor Faith, somebody asked a question. We just briefly, in 1 minute, answer a question. The vogue of going to check on people's, background. It's no longer a vogue. How can we bring that back? How can the church support that?
There's nothing the church can do. There's nothing the church can do. The church can initiate that. The church cannot initiate that as a law.
The church can encourage.
They can only. Yes, but see, I am of the school of thought that says that certain people just choose to become what they want to become. Do you know it's one thing to encourage somebody, it's another thing for the person to take your advice?
Yes, true.
Yes. And that's why the most difficult people you can advise, those ones, people in love, they will never listen.
Yeah.
They can never listen. That's the most difficult people to advise. So they can never listen. So when it comes to the church, there's little or nothing the church can do, but it can be encouraged. It can be encouraged. But however, that's why this kind of program is in section, so that everyone listening can also take it to their various, groups, sections, and as you teach it down to maybe those of us who are married, we have kids, we continue to teach them. Look for the ideologies of your partner. So before you get married, find out, like this person said, the family. But there's another twist to this thing. Good family, bad daughter. Good family, bad son. So when I say look for the ideology, I'm not just saying look for the family background. So the family background might be okay, but the ideologies of the person is warped. Like he got what he got from the streets or from his friends, or he just chose to become what he chose to become. So deal with the person directly. Yeah, it's good to find out the family background, but make sure you're deal with the person. Deal with the person you're going to stay with. You can deal with the family, yes, but deal with the person directly more. All right,
Yeah.
more. So focus more on that person, the person's ideology, not just you can find out the family fine, but that person, like Moses. I know why you asked the question because I talked about Moses and the background. But remember that forget about the background. Moses had that thing. It was not just that day the thing showed up. Remember when two people were fighting. Two people were fighting. He did not ask question. No, nobody judged the case. He only came there, and the next thing we heard, he killed one person and buried. You see, he killed the person, buried the person in the sand, and ran away. So it showed that character showed. So deal more with the person, because if I tell you background, you might be wrong. Deal more with the person.
Thank you so much. Thank you, my guest, Pastor Day. Thank you so much. We've learned a lot. For those of you that are just joining, you need to go and watch the replay. Thank you, Mama D. Thank you so much. If you've not taken anything home, please take ideology. What's the ideology of this person you're about to get married to? Another thing that we didn't touch that just came to my mind is don't live your life off your pastor. What pastor says. Pastor says I should go ahead with the marriage. Pastor says that, excuse me, what is God saying to you? You need to have your own relationship to God to hear Him. That's a mistake some of us made. You go and hear God through somebody, and sometimes they're not always correct. So make sure you develop that direct line with God. God is available to everyone if you connect. Very, very key. I want to say a very big thank you to everyone that joined in today. Jesus is the reason for the season. It's our Easter special, and we had a nice time with Pastor Faith and Mama Z all the way from here. Thank you so much, Pastor Faith, for spending your time with us this again. God bless you as we take our leave. Let me see one or two comments. Okay, no, I see you. I don't want the word at last to hear you. Please attend to my question. Yes, she has attended to your question, Mama Z. The church announces ban of marriage before. I don't know of other churches. Okay, I really don't know what she was talking about. Ideology is key. So if you do not take anything home from this, what is the ideology of that man that you're getting married? With this, I say a very big thank you. We come to the end of today's episode. God bless you, Pastor Jay. God bless you, Mama Z. See you at the back. All right, bye. You can give us
On a hill far away stood an old rugged cross, the emblem of suffering and shame. And I love that old cross where the dearest and best for a world of lost sinners was slain. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross and exchange its